My wife and I, our family, were in a position 6, 7 years ago where we were beyond the ends meeting and found ourselves in a place where we were very blessed and really wanted to be good stewards with those blessings. So, met with friends that had invested in the stock market. Um, that whether it was I didn't trust that game, I didn't trust that play, I didn't necessarily trust the companies I'd be investing in or agree with their politics or their positions. It just wasn't appealing to me. So being in mortgage for so long, it was kind of a natural lean to look into real estate investing. And so started looking at buying an investment property, being a landlord, buying a rent house. And as we looked at different properties and some of the challenges there, really led us to a place where it made the most sense to buy new build. Well, if you've ever researched or gone down that route, it's really hard for a builder to sell to.
Welcome to the STR Home Financing Podcast, where we believe a legacy is something you build, not just something you leave behind. And now, here's your host, Jeff Chisum.
Hey, Jeff Chisum here. I am so glad you have joined us for this inaugural first episode of STR Home Financing. My hope, my goal, my dream is that I will share information with you that will put you in a position to be able to move forward and build wealth through short-term rentals. So let's do a little who, what, when, where, and why. I felt like this was the best approach to kind of share who I am, what we'll be doing through this podcast, and why we're doing it. So who? Jeff Chisum, based out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I have been originating mortgages, residential mortgages, since 2008. So if that year sounds familiar, it should. That was the year of the crash. So, welcome to the world of lending, where I came out of the gates and kind of wondering how I am going to survive. So depending on when you are listening to this podcast, we're in the middle of that a little bit right now, but what we'll find, what we'll learn, what we'll talk about is that's when investors like to buy, is during these types of markets. But anyway, so 2008, I get in the business, City Mortgage Consumer Direct, 4.5 years on a call center floor, kind of churning through the days, but learned a ton. Went over to Chase Retail, was with private client. So dealing with high net worth clients, buying basically primary homes for the most part, few investment properties mixed here and there, but dealing with high net worth clients, and then decide I've got to align myself with a mortgage company that gets mortgages. They only do mortgages, and that's what they concentrate on. That's what they're good at. So jumped out there, self-sourcing my own business. And kind of fast forward to where we are today, 100% of my clients are buying in the short-term rental, vacation home, lifestyle asset space. So that is all we deal with. I have achieved the level of top 1% loan originator in the United States. So don't say that to brag. Well, kind of, but really the purpose is to let my listeners know that we don't mess around. We do things the right way. There's a reason why we've reached that level. It's because we work hard, we do the right thing, and we're smart about how we do things. So it's been a fun ride, especially these past 2 years where we've pivoted to only working with clients in this space. So as you can imagine, all day long I have consultation calls with really cool people that are doing really cool things in really cool areas of the United States. So really what I hope to accomplish and why I think there is an opportunity to create a podcast around short-term rental financing is because without fail, on a daily basis, I will have someone, after I share information around the financing options, where people will tell me, Jeff, wish I would have met you a long time ago, because it would have allowed me to do what we've always wanted to do much sooner, or we could have done more of it. So that repetitiveness of that comment and that feedback led me to a place where I said, we really have significant opportunity still after 2 years later, and probably literally 1,000 conversations to continue to educate people interested in buying in this asset class with the truth around the financing options. 90% of my clients are using the 10% down second home occupancy loan. And so a lot of what we'll cover through these podcasts are communicating the truth around the product. So how did I get here? How did I get in this space? My wife and I, our family, were in a position 6-7 years ago where we were beyond the ends meeting, and found ourselves in a place where we were very blessed and really wanted to be good stewards with those blessings. So, met with friends that had invested in the stock market. That whether it was I didn't trust that game, I didn't trust that play, I didn't necessarily trust the companies I'd be investing in or agree with their politics or their positions, it just wasn't appealing to me. So being in mortgage for so long, it was kind of a natural lean to look into real estate investing. And so started looking at buying an investment property, being a landlord, buying a rent house. And as we looked at different properties and some of the challenges there, really led us to a place where it made the most sense to buy new build. Well, if you've ever researched or gone down that route, it's really hard for a builder to sell to an investor, or be able to find a community where a builder is willing to sell to an investor. So kind of ran into a dead end there. And, through vacationing, through traveling, we had stayed in short-term rentals. Back then we called them Airbnbs. Like everything you blow your nose with is called a Kleenex. We just called them Airbnbs. So when I use that term STR, we're referring to these types of properties, short-term rentals. So we stayed in one in Arkansas, loved it, and my wife and I were soon having conversations around, hey, maybe this is the avenue that we should go down. So the more that we talked about it, the more that we researched it, we found out about the cash flow from these properties, found out more specifics around the 10% down financing. That became a viable option that made a lot of sense from a cash outlay standpoint, and also the return. So the return showed to be very, very strong. We did end up buying in Arkansas. And what we got from that that we could have never imagined, even hoped for, is really what that modeled for our family. So, we really had the mind that we didn't want to get to the end of our days and our kids say, you know what, mom and dad had a lot of great ideas, a lot of things that they talked about doing, but gosh, they really never followed through. They never really did them. So this was an opportunity for our kids to see us take action, to be a part of what we were doing. So that was the other thing about the stock market. You can talk to your kids about that. You can talk to them about investing, about brokerage accounts and performances, but we really didn't think that would catch their interest like buying a lake house would. So it showed our kids what it looked like to take action, to be a part of building something, growing something. So when we talk about legacy, when we talk about legacy as something that you build, it's not something that you just look back and it happens by accident. I really believe that legacy is something that you build, that you have to be intentional about. So now, part of our legacy is they've seen their parents take action. We're building a portfolio of these properties that we'll leave as a legacy. But it also is an example of what it takes to achieve significance, what hard work goes into it, what dedication goes into it. And I believe that most things that our children will carry with them for the rest of their lives are caught, not necessarily taught. So they're watching what we're doing. We can't just talk about it. So that's how I got here, got involved in several different networks where I became the go-to person when it came to financing, because a lot of these different arenas that I became a part of in the space with short-term rentals, these organizers were hearing things about the financing piece that they had never heard before. And that goes back to who I am and why I'm here. How I got here is probably about 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, Fannie Mae came up with some new policy around the 10% down second home occupancy loan. I opened up the email, read it, thought it was significant, stuck it in my back pocket. And sure enough, through that initial email interaction, led me to a place where I really dove into the specifics of the policy and put me on a higher ground in understanding than, this is a rough number, but I would say 97% of the loan officers in the United States. So we were able to put people in position that they thought they would never be in because of it. So I'm excited about this opportunity. My ideal scenario for these podcasts is they last no more than 10 minutes. I know you're busy. I'm busy. Hopefully these will be quick pieces of information that you can take, you can digest, you can stick in your back pocket, and hopefully we will put you in that position to be able to take action. Until next time, take care.
Jeff Chisum is a registered mortgage loan officer, NMLS 673623 for North Point Bank, NMLS 447490. North Point Bank is an equal housing lender. All programs and products discussed on the show are subject to change without notice.